Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I haven't really been here much at all this year. I had one video a couple months back, the art video, and I've uploaded mostly music otherwise, but even that's been pretty scarce. So here I am, back, and there's kind of a lot to talk about because I kind of missed a lot of things in the last 10 or so months. So let's talk about all of that today. So it's going to be a bit more podcasty for the video today. I've not got a script, I've not got anything, I'm just here to just kind of ramble on about things because a lot's been going on. We've had Doctor Who stuff, we've had Pokémon things, we've got what's it called, Scarlet and Violet coming out in less than a month now. We've got, we had Legends Arceus release back in January, and we had 3 Doctor Who specials. I know I haven't talked much about Doctor Who on the channel before, but today I'm going to be starting with Pokemon news, discussing all of my thoughts on Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. But then I'm going to move on and talk a bit about Doctor Who, about Power of the Doctor, about the other specials that have released this year, and about what's coming for David Tennant and Ncuti Gatwa later next year even. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Okay, so like I said, the first on my list to talk about today is, of course, what's coming for Pokemon next month, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm really excited about these games. I can't believe I can remember exactly where I was when the trailer came out back in February. I can remember I had just finished a shift at work, and as I was leaving, my shift ended at 2, and that was when the trailer, the presents started. So as I was leaving, I watched the bit of it as I was heading towards my car, and it was just the Pokemon Go stuff. But by the time I got home, it was already, Scarlet and Violet had been announced, and I was trying to avoid Twitter while trying to watch the trailer. It was really, really exciting, and to see now that we've now got, we're now less than a month away, we're 20 or so days away, 22 days I think from when I'm recording this. It's just crazy. So let's just quickly go over a couple of things, starting with the actual Pokemon themselves. I'm really happy with the Pokemon designs this generation so far. We've got things like Sprigatito, which I love, it's definitely my starter choice. So Roulege. This has the potential to be one of my favourite Pokemon, probably my favourite one this generation so far at least. It looks so just amazing. It kind of just takes what I really love about Bishop and just ups the ante. Farigiraf, that's a really cool Pokemon. I'm really happy with the fact that Girafarig is finally getting what it deserves, an evolution, and I'm really hoping that Lucian's Girafarig will evolve in Masters soon, probably next year sometime. There's a few Pokemon that I'm not as big a fan of. I mean, Grafaiai, it's fine, but it's not anything special. And I have to say the same about Greavard. I like it. I do like it. It's a cool ghost dog, lit wick candle thingy, but there's just a couple things about it. First things first, that it's the second dog we've had revealed for this gen, so kind of Fido kind of stole some of the spotlight from when Greavard was revealed yesterday. And I think just, yeah, there's a couple things just that I'm not a massive fan of with it, so but that's just, what happens. There's always going to be some Pokemon designs that I'm not a massive fan of in a generation. I mean, Clorf's not amazing, but I like it more than a couple of Pokemon that I've seen around. But yeah, that's the Pokemon kind of designs. The characters, I have a lot more positive things to say about the characters because so far there has not been a single design of a character that I don't like. I like all of them a lot. I think our gym leaders so far this generation look really good, and they look like they've got a lot of personality, definitely more so than in Sword and Shield, even though a lot of them did have a bit of a personality, but I feel that the art and kind of what we've seen of them gives the Paldean gym leaders more personality. I really like that they all have different jobs. So Grusha is a professional snowboarder, you have Iono who's a streamer, and Brassius who's a sculptor. He's really he's a bit of a grumpy artist really. I really like how they're going to use Terra Style to kind of have Pokemon become their type. I mean, personally, if it was me, I would have done it the other way around. I would have had him have, let's take the example of Grusha. I would have had him terrestrialize his Titan to be something like, I don't know, water type. So if you've got a fire type, then you're kind of, you've now got to deal with a water type Pokemon. But obviously, it's nice to have Sudowoodo finally become the grass type it deserves to be. The other characters, Jacques and the two other professors, all look great. I think that they're just really fun designs. Definitely Churro and Sada are probably the best professor designs we've had since, I don't know, probably ever. I really like Professor Churro's design, very futuristic. The rivals are all fine. I don't have anything particular to say about any of them, other than I really like Penny's bag. I think it's really cute. Mela. Mela is great. Or is it Mela? Mela? I have no idea. I love her boots. I think they're amazing. And she just looks like she's going to be a really interesting character to fight. I hope it's not just like you see her once at the end of the Team Star battle in the Cheddar squad thing, and then you never see her again. I hope that she's fully developed. I know she's not the evil team leader because she's only the boss of the Cheddar squad. I'm probably mispronouncing that awfully. But I hope that we can see her again at some point. Maybe like the commanders of the evil teams in previous games, like Oleana, or the Team Galactic commanders, Plumeria. So see her a few times rather than just once. In terms of the characters, the school characters all wearing school uniform, it's fine. I mean, I'd rather that you have more options, but it fits with the game. It fits with kind of what they're going for, and it's quite nice. I'm really happy that for the first time in a Pokemon game, there's no limitations in terms of customization based on the player's gender. And I think I've heard from some of the previews that you don't actually choose a gender at the start of the game. You just have your character and you customize them with different eye shapes and things. It's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out, because I was one of those people who really did not like the designs of Juliana and Florian back in February. Gita, the last character I need to talk about, I think. She's really cool. She's very much going to be the champion. She's the chairwoman of the Pokemon League, but I don't think she's going to be like Rose. I think she's going to be more like Leon, given that she is the strongest champion of the Paldean champions. So I would assume that she is going to be the one that we fight at the end. In terms of the gameplay itself, it's so nice to have an open world where we can just explore. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's going to be like. And I hope it's more than Legends Arceus, which kind of limited you to certain areas at different times. I like how the catching is now, instead of having 3 shakes, which always takes a while, just being 1 shake, and then it's either you caught it or you don't. I like how the trainer battles, you now have to talk to the trainers rather than them just seeing you, because then if you need training in a certain time in the game, then you can do it then. But if you're rushing for something else, then it means you don't have to bother with it when you first pass a trainer. I know that there's been a lot of talk about people not liking the graphics, but I'm really happy with how they look. They look really, really good. And I think that the quality, even compared to Legends Arceus, just looks amazing. I mean, look at the character. If we take Nemona, for instance, because this was who I first noticed it on, when you actually look at the screenshots of her model in the game, she has individual hair strands. Like, even in the art, it's just one big block of hair. But then in the actual game, there's different hair strands which are like going over her eye in different ways. It looks really, really good, and I'm really happy to see all this high fidelity, high quality work happening. In terms of the way they've been revealing things, I'm a bit disappointed, I can't lie to you, because we've had things where they've just really hyped it up. You've had the reveal of Grafaiai, and then it just kind of became a bit of a meh Pokemon. Iono, we got to see Iono, then we had to have a couple of days before we met Bellibolt. And as much as I love Bellibolt, did we really need the whole 2-day thing? It just feels like you can do it once, you don't need to do it 3 times, because they did it a 3rd time, where you had the announcement of Grievous. They did it twice in a month. Because yesterday and the day before they Grievard. They teased Grievard in a kind of broken found footage style, which I wonder where I've seen that before, Hisuian Zora. But then yesterday we got the full trailer for Grievard. And yeah, it's cool. It's a cool dog, but I mean, it didn't need to happen for a 3rd time. Yeah. It's basically kind of my opinions on that. I'm trying to think of what else I need to talk about other than the fact that the game is going to come out in like a few days. It feels like it's not even many weeks anymore. I really like the school setting. I'm really looking forward to that. I like the picnic thing. It's going to be nice to be able to make sandwiches for your Pokemon rather than doing all the elaborate curries and things. And the TM machine. That is going to be amazing. Because now you can just make TMs for your Pokemon just at any time. And I think the previews also said that the Pokemon move learning system is the same as in Legends Arceus, where you can just choose, where a Pokemon has a move pool that it learns as it levels up, or as you give it items or whatever, and then you get to kind of choose which moves you want for a specific battle, or just change it on the fly. I'm really happy with that. That is going to be really amazing to see back, because that was one of the best changes they made in Legends Arceus, along with all their other amazing changes that they made. It was a lot of changes there. The Pokemon VG Players trailer, where we saw Cyclizar, Loaded Dice, Covert Cloak, and the Mirror Herb. I normally wouldn't talk about this because I don't really do much competitive Pokemon, but I am going to kind of talk about the experience of watching a Pokemon trailer live. I was lucky enough to go to Pokemon Worlds earlier this year down in London. It was honestly just amazing. Just one of the best experiences I've ever had, and to see the trailer come out for the for both the TCG and for the VGC, the big trailer for the competitive people, it was so exciting. Everyone was just, the room was just filled with like cheers and things. It was just, what an amazing experience. Definitely worth going down. If you're in Yokohama next year, if you happen to be there while it's going on, definitely go. It's so worth it. I don't have any regrets. In terms of Terrastyle, I really like Terrastyle. I think it's going to be something. It's not my favourite gimmick, because nothing's ever going to beat Mega Evolution in my eyes. But I really like the idea that your Pokemon can now just change type. It's going to make things very interesting, both from a VGC standpoint and from an actual gameplay standpoint. I really hope that the gym leaders actually do what I've kind of suggested that they might, with, say, Grusha using a water types Titan rather than an ice types Titan. I think that would be quite cool, because it would make the game extra challenging for all of us who would like a bit more challenge in our Pokemon games. I'm trying to think what else there really is to say other than actually talking about the region of Paldea itself, because I haven't really done that yet. Paldea is looking brilliant. I think the map is fantastic. I'm just blown away with how big it looks. I know it's not going to be as big as Hyrule was in the Breath of the Wild, but I think that there are a lot of things about this that just, wow, it really is just going to be amazing. I'm just going to get open the Paldea map so I can kind of talk about a couple things. First things first is definitely interesting to note is that I can only actually find 7 gyms on the map. I genuinely cannot find the last one, and maybe that's just because I've been looking wrong this entire time, but I can't find it at all. But yeah, that seems like a me problem at this point. I also like how we've got kind of the different flag areas, which is going to tell us where our Team Star bases are. So we know that the fire type team are in between Artisan, where you fight Brassius, and I think it's Levincia, where you fight Iono. I think that's a really cool idea that you don't have to go that way, but you can take on Team Star while you're in the middle of that. Definitely what's interesting is the different colours on the flags. You've got the red one for the Team Star, the Shedar Squad, the fire type team, where you've got Mela, who's a Torkoal, and you see a lot of fire type Pokemon around there, or used by the Team Star grunts, I mean. Let me see whether I can find the other flags, because I know they're there, but I seem to have lost them. There are some flags by one of the towers at the back of the map, near where you find Grusha's gym, and that's interesting because they seem to be pink. So I'm assuming they're kind of a fairy type kind of Team Star base, which would be really cool to see. You've also got, I'm sure I've seen some. Yeah, you've got the dark type coloured ones near the water looking town, which is really cool. And there was one of them. I think there's 2 more sets of flags that I just can't find. But I think what they're kind of trying to go for with this is that there's 8 gyms. They have 8 type-ins. Then you go to the different flags, and you fight. I think I saw 5 Team Star bosses, and that's another 5 types. That takes you up to 13 types, and then there's going to be another 5 Titans, and then you're going to fight the 5 Titans, and you get another 5 types, and that rounds out to all 18 types being covered, which is making me question what's going to happen with this Elite Four, because I think there's an Elite Four. If you look at the back, behind Mesagoza, you can kind of see this building with a battlefield on top. I'm kind of assuming that that's the Pokemon League headquarters / where you fight the Elite Four. But yeah, that's kind of how they are. I'm really looking forward to exploring this game. I'm really interested to know what the towers are, because I'm so confused about that. Because it seems to have something to do with Arven and the Herba Mystica thing, but I'm not really sure what it has to do with anything. Maybe it's how we're going to unlock different parts of the map, like in Breath of the Wild, you get to the top of the tower and your Sheikah Slate, or in this case your Rotom Foam, will download your different your map area info. But that wouldn't make much sense considering that there's some places where there's literally 2 opposite each other. Oh, and the big vortex in the middle, that's kind of a thing. I'm not really sure what to think about that. I really don't know. I'm very intrigued to know what it is, though. That's what I'm thinking. A lot of people have said that it could, come out and you find yourself in Mount Coronet from Sinnoh. Interesting thought, but who knows? Who knows? I think in terms of Paldea, that's really all I have to talk about, other than the fact that there's very clearly clouds covering some rocky area at the back in the sea, kind of hinting that this is actually connected to Southern Kalos. DLC anyone? I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm lying, I'm totally getting my hopes up. But you never know. You never know with this game, this franchise. But yeah, I think that's all I've got really to talk about when it comes to Scarlet and Violet. I've rambled on quite a lot with these games. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, because I'd be really interested to know. So yeah, let me know. Thank you. Now on to the news for Doctor Who. there's no way we can really talk about Doctor Who without talking about the fact that Jodie Whittaker left our screens for the last time, well, at least for now, on Sunday. I mean, it was an incredible episode, it really was. Power of the Doctor was a great send-off for Jodie, if a little full, if you know what I mean. I'll start by saying that I think the episode would have been better had the Daleks not been in it. Not only did they have Eve of the Daleks earlier this year, but they also appeared in both The Vanquishers and Once Upon a Time last year during Flux. There was no real need to have them back this series. It just felt a bit, or this episode rather, it just felt a bit random. And their inclusion really didn't lead anywhere, to be honest. As much as I always like seeing the Daleks back because they are very cool villains, it could have quite easily been a simple Cyberman and Master story, because it would just, I think it would have been easier, more simple for Jodie, for everyone. I mean, think about how it could have worked. Instead of having the Doctor investigate the Master's disguised TARDIS when she just happens to get out the TARDIS, or her TARDIS, have it be that when the Cybermen start shooting at her, she runs into the TARDIS thinking it's her TARDIS when in fact it's the Master's TARDIS, and that sets her up on loop to be teleported back down to 1916 Russia. There you go. There you go. You no longer need the Daleks in the episode whatsoever. I think the only reason they were there was so that Ace could have smashed one up with a bat. And as much as it was nice to see that, I mean, it wasn't really necessary. But in terms of the episode on the whole, it was really good. I really enjoyed elements such as, the space train scene. That was really good to start the episode. Really enjoyed seeing the that Qualox. I can't remember exactly what it's called. That was a very interesting part of the story. Not really sure how it ties into things just yet, but it's a very fun, I'm going to say, I'll call it a villain-ish thing for now, but it's more just a creature, a victim of the Master. The Master himself, what a fantastic role. It was very interesting seeing the Seismology Master. That one was undeniably more close to the Master we knew from Series 12, but we then actually got to see the different form of the Master, a lot longer hair, but actually posing as someone in history, something that a few Masters have done before, specifically often in Big Finish audio. We see him posing as Rasputin from Russian history, and he completely just takes over and he steals the show. That scene with him when he's captured the Doctor was incredible. Probably the funniest time I've seen during this era, and possibly even more so just the whole show. It was really, really funny. And I really quite liked his plan, the whole thing of trying to wreck the Doctor's name. It felt really just deserved. It felt like a very contained part of the story, rather than trying to, I mean, I know I saw theories flying around on Twitter like, oh, he's going to have the Doctor use her infinite regeneration energy to regenerate into, or to provide regeneration energy for all these human Cybermen, the ones from UNIT, and that he was going to be creating using the Quarks, or whatever it's called. I think that would have been an interesting angle to take it, but I'm also quite happy with the one that ended up happening. It leaves a lot, you could easily see a Big Finish story with Sacha Dhawan and Mandip Gill as he's adjusting to becoming the Doctor, and then having to have that whole scene. It was really fun seeing him wearing a mix of all the Doctor's costumes, seeing him with, the Master's face. It was a really interesting part of the story, And then I do like how it was the final confrontation between the Doctor and the Master was between the Doctor and the Rasputin Master. It was quite nice. What else is there that I could say about that specific episode? I like seeing Tegan and Ace. That was really cool. They're very cool characters. I don't really know much about either companion. I've seen a bit of Tegan in the story, like in actual episodes, but I haven't seen any with Tegan in. Did I say I've seen Tegan? I mean Ace, in that case. But I know them both mostly through Big Finish, because that's kind of my addiction. I'm sitting here in front of my 3 shelves of Big Finish audios. It's pretty bad, I can't lie. This has all been since Christmas. But I remember Ace mostly through Live 34 and Dark Universe, and Tegan from Psychodrome and Iterations of I. All really, really good stories, and it does very much engage the characters and kind of give you an insight into them. But yeah, and I really enjoyed the way they were portrayed in Power of the Doctor as well. I thought that was a lot of fun to have Tegan be this really like almost resentful of the Doctor for leaving her for so long. And that whole thing where the Master tricks Tegan into thinking that the Doctor has sent her a gift. That was a really interesting angle. I thought that kind of made the Master seem even more callous than he was before. I mean, I could kind of guess that it was the Master sending this, and at first I really did. I thought it was just the Ashad Cyberman thing from in Time as Children, even though I know it got blown up, but Ashad still appeared, so there's no reason why it couldn't have happened. What else? Hard to talk about. It was hard to talk about this episode without talking about the ending. I'm not going to talk about the regeneration just yet, but I am going to talk about the companion scene. As much as I like Graham, I feel that him setting this whole up, it makes sense, but at the same time, I didn't think it was strictly... Obviously, Chibnall wanted it to be one of his companions, which makes sense, so that's fine. But it was so nice to see William Russell back as Ian, first and foremost. This 98-year-old man or 97 going on 98-year-old man, still coming back to play in Doctor Who again. It was incredible. It was nice to see him again. And then there was Mel in that scene as well. I'm really glad that we got to see Mel, because Mel's great. I haven't seen any of her TV appearances, but I have seen a number of her Big Finish audios, such as We Are the Daleks, Mind of the Hodiak. I've actually even got the episode, I can't remember its name. It's right behind me. I should remember it. And He Jests at Scars, the one where it focuses on Mel and the Valeyard. It's a really good story, that one. Definitely worth getting. And it was also nice to see Joe back as well. I'm sounding like a broken record here. I haven't watched much Classic Who, if you didn't know, but I watched the Sarah Jane Adventures growing up, and so I knew Joe from the Death of the Doctor episode with Matt Smith and Sarah Jane and Joe. It was nice to see her again. She fit in very easily. And obviously, it's always good to see Kate Stewart. I had a mini panic attack when she was being put into the side upgrade chair. I was like, oh my god, they're actually going to kill off Ace. But then, not Ace, Kate. But then Tegan saves her at the nick of time. It was brilliant. Shame we didn't see Osgood, but, kind of expected that given that she didn't appear in The Vanquishers either. What else? Oh, yes, of course. The Doctors. I mean, it's so weird to think that David, Ncuti, and Jodie, 3 Doctors already that we've seen this year, or have been confirmed this year-ish, if you know what I mean. And then we've got, that's not even all of them. You've got David Bradley, which, always happy to see David Bradley. David Bradley's great. really just fun character, and I thought he did a really good job as the first Doctor. Obviously, I haven't actually heard any of his Big Finish productions with the first Doctor, and so I'm interested in doing so, but they are quite expensive. But I saw him in Twice Upon a Time back in the Capaldi episode, which is crazy. Weird to think that was now 5 years ago. But yeah, nice to see him again. And it was really nice to see Colin Baker, Peter Davison, and Sylvester McCoy in the way that I would remember them, their voices sounding older, because that's how I remember them, because I've seen a couple of episodes from the classic era, but not many. I remember most from Big Finish, so that's always nice. And the way I screamed when Paul McGann came on screen, I was in absolute... it was just amazing. The Eighth Doctor is by far my second favourite Doctor. I say by far. Fugitive does come quite close afterwards, but I think he's incredible. Paul McGann, I have a number of his things. I've seen the TV movie, I've seen Night of the Doctor, obviously, but I also have Dark Eyes and Doom Coalition and a few of the episodes of the first series with Lucy Miller, and a couple of his monthly range stories as well. Terra Firma, Time Works, and The Silver Turk, which is one of my favourite Cyberman stories. Just incredible. I wasn't expecting to see him, so I was really excited when he did show up on my screen. I was so excited. It just makes me wish that actually, instead of regenerating into David, Jodie regenerated into Paul. But I love David Tennant. I think he's a great Doctor. He was my first Doctor, so I'm always happy to see more of David Tennant. Now, speaking of the regeneration into David, Jodie's last scene was, I thought, quite nice. It fit her Doctor very well, and it was a bit of a shame. I think the Phasmin thing that they've been building since Eve of the Daleks, weak send off for that, to be honest. Really quite weak for that, but that's okay. It was quite. I thought the Jodie scene on the cliff was quite nice, and then obviously seeing David Tennant again, just incredible. He hasn't changed at all. He just fits. He slots right back into the role without even a minute, to just kind of readjust. But I think that's mainly because he hasn't really left the role. Not even just from he's done Big Finish, but he's also done video games, he's done merchandise, he's the male face of Doctor Who, as Jodie is the female face of Doctor Who at the moment. He will always be the most popular Doctor, probably, unless someone else can overtake him, but at the minute he is the most popular Doctor, and if someone says, "Oh, who's the Doctor?" Then you have a good chance of hearing David Tennant. Obviously, his Big Finish productions are amazing. I've heard almost all of them. The only ones I don't have are his most recent one, the one with the Classic Companions. I really want that one, but I don't have it yet because I can't afford it at the minute. I haven't heard his one with Billie Piper as Rose, because I've heard a lot of bad things about that one, but we'll see what it's like, I suppose. And the other one that I don't have is the River Song ones. I also really want them, because River's always amazing, isn't she? But yeah, that was Power of the Doctor. I think probably best to talk about some of the other Doctor Who things going on at the minute. Absolutely amazing to see him already being promoted as the Doctor, because we have got a whole year where David Tennant is technically the Doctor. But it was not David who was in America yesterday announcing the collaboration with Disney+. It was Ncuti. And it was really, really refreshing that they're not just sinking back into that whole, it's David Tennant, we can use him to market and just get all the audience back. They're promoting the new Doctor as well, the 15th incarnation. It's going to be really cool to see Ncuti next year, the year after, whatever it is that his first series comes out. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how David handles the role and then how Ncuti takes over. I think the new logo, obviously, I like it enough to have tried to recreate it and use that as my new logo as well. I didn't like it when I first saw it when the leaks came out. If you don't remember, there were leaks a couple of weeks back now. I think sometime early October. There were 2 leaks in one evening for a potential new Doctor Who logo under Russell T Davies. The first one that I saw, I thought was going to be the one that was revealed as real, because it looked very, it looked sleek. It looked like kind of like the Jodie era one, but with like the celebration of the Diamond Anniversary type thing. But instead, it was the other one, the one that I saw, the other one I saw, that was ended up being the real one, with the Doctor Who logo from 1973, just kind of being updated and used again. And I really like it. I think it's a really nice take on the logo, and I'm really interested to see what Big Finish covers look like now. I know I sound like a blooming broken record. Big Finish, Big Finish, Big Finish. But I am, they produce more Doctor Who content than anyone else, probably, ish. I think it's about right. So, there's no reason why I can't be excited. But yeah, I think that's the main thing that happened yesterday. Obviously, the Disney Plus thing as well. Disney Plus Doctor Who outside the UK. That's going to be interesting. Obviously, Disney do not have any creative control over Doctor Who at all. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that Disney now have the rights to stream the new episodes of the show, starting with David Tennant and going on all the way to Ncuti and beyond. This is just how it is now, and it's nice that Doctor Who's going to kind of have a home outside of the UK as well. Obviously, for the UK citizens and residents and whatever, we still watch it via BBC One and then on catch-up BBC iPlayer. But everywhere else is now seeing it on Disney Plus, which is really cool. That's a nice way of doing it, because it means that everyone can watch it at the same time. So it means that if I were to go to another country, I could still watch Doctor Who while I'm away, because I would be able to just log on to Disney Plus if I had Disney Plus. I don't yet, but maybe I will. Who knows? And just continue watching, and that'll. I think that gives a lot of freedom to a lot of people, which is good. Is there really anything else to talk about in terms of the upcoming era? Obviously, Donna's back. Really excited about that. And then we have Yasmin Finney as well. Yasmin Finney joining as Rose. Not Rose Tyler, but Rose Temple Noble. It's going to be a fun one. I am very interested to see what they kind of say in terms of why Yaz is chosen, or Yaz's character has chosen the name Rose, because it is, well, we assume her choice, possibly hinted at by Donna. We don't know, but we do know that Yaz's character is trans, because obviously, well, not because, but Yaz is trans as well, and so it's good that Russell is hiring a trans actor to play a trans character. And Yasmin is just an incredible actress. She was in Heartstopper, obviously, as Elle Harjon, and she stole the show there. I adore Heartstopper, and I adore Yaz's role. I adore all of it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her in Doctor Who later this year. Or no, next year. Not later this year. Can't get my hopes up too yet. But yeah, next year. Next November. I can't wait. And all of the things that we've seen from the sets, really exciting as it is. So it's all happening now. A new era for all. That is why I'm naming this episode, for the simple reason that everything is entering a new era. Doctor Who's entering a new era with the new logo, with the new Doctors. We've got a new era for Pokemon, where they're getting this open world adventure. And a new era for me, because I have a new logo, and because I want to kind of try uploading to the channel more often. That's kind of really all I have to say, I think. I'm sorry for rambling on for 40 minutes. Blimey, that is a long time for him to be rambling on. But that's me for you, really, isn't it? So, yeah, thank you for listening to me today on this podcast-like episode. Tell me whether I should keep it going, and whether you enjoyed just listening to someone talk for a bit. I know it was a bit odd in some places, but I mean, probably just nerves and being out of practice for a while. But yeah, that's okay. Hope you've all enjoyed, and I'm glad that you've come to watch all this video all the way to the end. Thank you very much. See you soon. Goodbye.